skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, Life Transformation Radio listeners, to a special episode, never been done on a Saturday, but here we are because the man I'm going to bring on the show is doing incredible things, and this is the only time that he has had. So welcome to the show, my friend, Ricky Shetty. What's up, my friend?
Doing incredible things, and this is the only time that he has had. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, Sean, it's so great to be on your show. Thanks for having me on. It's great to interview you on my podcast. And now the tables are switched, and you're the host, and I'm the guest. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man. I was getting weird. I was like, hello? Like, is he? Because where you at right now?
I am right now at an Airbnb in Manila, Philippines, in Southeast Asia.
Amazing. So, man, I'm so honored to have you on the show. You are doing amazing things, man. So this is going to be an amazing conversation, and I cannot wait for the listeners to get to know more about you, man. So the title of this episode is Digital Nomad Mastery with Ricky Shetty. Ricky is the owner and operator of Daddy Blogger, where he writes about parenting from a father's perspective with a big emphasis on family travel with young kids. Currently, Ricky and his family are traveling around the world as part of their hashtag Daddy Blogger World Tour, visiting Asia, Middle East, Africa, South America, and Central America. Ricky is in 81 countries on 6 continents, and his big goal is to be the first family to visit every single country in the world. Ricky is an internet marketer, digital nomad, and a passionate husband and father of 3 young kids. He works with tourism boards, travel companies, corporations, companies, businesses, and various sponsors to market their products and services to the readers. He has a big global following of moms and dads. His stats are impressive. 10,000 plus blog readers a month on daddyblogger.com, 100,000 plus social media followers combined across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google+, etc. 5 million plus YouTube, 8,000 YouTube subscribers, 500 plus podcast interviews on his podcast, Digital Nomad Mastery Podcast, and 200 plus media appearances on CNN, Huffington Post, Global TV, National Post, Vancouver Sun. He's been everywhere. Hundreds of podcast episodes he's been on, and he has 10 Udemy online courses with 30,000 students enrolled. He has 10 Amazon and Kindle books, with 4 of them being Amazon bestsellers. He is available for speaking, media, podcast interviews, business coaching, press trips, strategic alliances, referral networks, venture partnerships, marketing opportunities. This guy is freaking crushing the world. You are freaking all over the world, man.
Literally, literally all over the world. I've been to 6 continents, 81 countries. But at the end of the day, I'm just an average guy. I'm an average dad. I have 3 wonderful kids. My daughter's 6, my son's 5, and my little guy is 2. And that's my big passion at the end of the day. All of those accomplishments mean nothing to me unless I build up my family. So that's my big passion, Sean. building dads, building marriages, building families, and of course travel it into marketing too.
So it sounds like your why is your family, right? Would you say what is your big why for what you do?
Yeah, that's the easy answer. The short version is it's my family, but the bigger version is it's because of my childhood and my own, brokenness as a child. My parents divorced, so I am a child of divorce. So that being broken, I was splintered in terms of supporting my mom or dad. I had a lot of fears around getting married myself, and now that I am married and am a dad, I've chosen to be different, and I've chosen to put this emphasis on me as a father, me as a husband, and me as a family member, and also inspiring other dads to be the best they can be, and other husbands and other families. So yes, short story is my wife, my family, and you've kind of heard a little bit of insight into the longer version as well.
I love it, man. Absolutely love it. So what would you say is a transformational moment that has changed your life or put you on the path to what you're doing now?
There have been several. So, when I look at my life, there's this whole hero's journey where you go through your ups, your downs, your peaks, your valleys. And for me, I would say there were 2 defining moments. In high school, I got voted most shy. So I was like, okay, am I really the shy kid? Or is that just what other people look at me as? So I went through this big inner soul searching about my identity, my personality, my inner healing. So in my 20s, I actually did start traveling as well. That was as a solo backpacker, hitchhiking and staying in hospitals and eating ramen noodles, definitely travel in the cheap. And when I started traveling in my 20s, that's when I really started opening up. From being a shy kid to blossoming into being more of a socialite, being more confident, overcoming my past hurts and wounds and brokenness. So that was one big turning point. And of course, getting married, having kids. And then once we got married and had kids, we decided to leave the suburbs. We're from Vancouver, BC, Canada. And leaving the suburbs obviously was a huge step, especially considering we had 3 young kids. So I would say those are a couple of the defining moments. When I started, I kind of ironically, they're both about travel, in my 20s and now in I'm 41. So traveling for the last couple of years with my family has been life-changing and life-altering and transformational.
I love it, man. What's your favorite country or favorite place that you've been?
The favorite country is almost asking me if I have a favorite kid, Sean.
I know, right?
I can't choose between the 3. It's I have 81 countries. I can't choose between 81. But in terms of the places I've been that I really like or resonate with are the places that are most different from my country, which is Canada, which is very similar to the U.S., right? So I like places that are different and that challenge me in terms of my paradigms or my way of thinking or my way of looking at the world. So when I come here to Asia, very different, obviously. When I go to Africa, very, very different. When I go to Latin America, Central and South America, very different as well. Middle East, again, very different, right? Europe is, it's still Western, but obviously Europe has a lot stronger, deeper history there. So so much diversity in all countries. And in Australia and Canada, U.S., I find quite similar in terms of the outlook of life or the Western mentality. So I really like places like Southeast Asia. I love South Africa, and I love the whole Latin culture in Central and South America. So those are some of my favorite regions of the world.
Yeah. So I was stationed in England from 2002 to 2004 with the Air Force. I joined the military, and wow, Scotland's amazing. Ireland's amazing. England, all those countries around there. England, Ireland, Wales. Had a great time. Got a great time in Scotland. As a young kid, I guess I just, you don't know what you don't know. And I had no idea that the movie Braveheart was an actual thing. They have William Wallace monuments, all stuff. That's different. All right. And then come to find out, like, in history, and it was like, well, unless it says based on a true story, which I didn't see in the beginning of the movie, but some of that stuff had actually taken place. And some of those places actually have, like, monuments to, like, those battles and stuff. So it was pretty cool to learn some history, you know, and actually see it up close.
That's what we learn about history is not just by textbooks or classrooms or teachers. Best way to learn about history is actually going to the places like you mentioned, like the William Wallace, Scotland, or going to the castles and cathedrals and learning about the colonial history of, you know, America, like how we got colonized by England and how Canada got colonized by the French and the British, and, you know, learning all about that because our roots as Canadians, Americans, is very tied into European colonial history, right? So I think it's very important for us to understand our national identity and also personal identity to understand really the origins of it.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. 100%. So what is your long-term vision, and where did you come up with it?
So we actually have this goal, as out of bio, to be the first family in human history to visit every single country in the world. But not just visit every country, but also make a difference, serve, impact, volunteer, and give back. So we have been traveling for 2 years continuously, and around the time of, you know, like a year and a half, I was like, what does this all mean? Is this, like, I keep asking myself the big questions, you know, like in Canada, I was like, is this all there is to life? Just living in the suburb, paying off the bills, struggling paying the mortgage, and then eventually when the kids go out of the home to travel. That was kind of my mindset, but I was like, no, let's travel now when our kids are young while we have the health and vitality that we do now. So that was like kind of the shift in thinking. And then the shift in thinking in terms of having this goal is like, you know, like there's one thing about traveling for the sake of narcissism or vanity or just checking things off the bucket list. Oh, I've done the pyramids, done the Great Wall of China, done Taj Mahal, done the Grand Canyon, right? And just kind of going through the narcissism. Like, oh yeah, I have all these accomplishments. But I think the bigger accomplishment is the accomplishment in terms of impacting and serving others. So like when we travel, we actually volunteer at most, not all the countries, but the ones that we are able to find volunteer opportunities, we do. So we work with an international organization called it's an orphanage, and we've been helping out. It's called SOS, not Save the Children, it's called SOS Children's Village. And SOS Children's Village is based in Europe, but they have orphanages in most countries around the world, in like 150 plus countries. So we work with them and we volunteer in South America. We volunteer with them in Brazil and Colombia. In the Philippines, we're helping out with another NGO. So we volunteer and do different things. So, like, for example, we'll teach English, we'll do arts and crafts, we'll help, you know, because we have young kids, so our kids can connect with the orphan kids. Here in the Philippines, well, country, so I'm actually teaching the poor about business and entrepreneurship. So I go in and do education and workshops and seminars, and I don't get paid. And I'm not looking to get paid. I'm just looking to make a difference and impact. Actually, the person who gets impacted the most is not them, it's me. Because I end up like, oh man, what the heck am I complaining about back in Canada about the coffee or like the way the food's taking so long at the restaurant? The fact that I have the ability to go to the restaurant and have food, and go to Starbucks, coffee, I just have to be grateful. So when I come here to Asia or Africa, it's really shifted my paradigm and perspective of what is really important in the world. And at the end of the day, it's people. That's what's important. And memories over materialism. So, yeah, I mean, when you ask me about my vision, I could talk days, weeks, months, years about it.
I love it. Oh, I love it, man. That's awesome. You know, I love traveling. You know, our family always takes road trips. You know, when I'm going on speaking engagements, got a work thing or whatever, you know, we'll take like a road trip. And kids love the road trips. And, you know, it kind of sucks. Some of them, like, you know, if we go all the way from like North Carolina to Utah, it's like a 36-hour drive. You know, you're like excited for the first 6. And then for the next 30, it's like, I'm ready to get there. But we do things like it's a whole long road trip. You know, like we'll stop at different places. We'll see certain things. You know what I mean? So we may stop, you know, couple states down, go see some stuff there because we've already kind of planned it out, right? So as you're driving, oh, here's the world's largest frying pan. Let's go see this. Oh, here's the world's largest. So we'll see like all these cool, like monuments and all these different things. But it's cool for the kids to experience that stuff. Rather than just sitting on a video game or sitting, doing nothing, being bored, not learning anything except for what they're taught in school. So.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. Like when I talked about the paradigm shift for me, my kids have had even a greater paradigm shift. Like back in Canada, they would always want the latest toys and the latest gadgets and the latest video games, and they want more things. Now we've taught them minimalism, and we've taught them the importance of giving and serving and the importance of gratitude. So now they've shifted their little brains and their hearts and their spirits to be much more like global citizens. And I feel our job as parents is to teach our kids to be global citizens. And what better way to teach them that than naturally showing them the globe?
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I was telling my wife yesterday, as we're talking about Black Friday and everybody's rushing to get the newest thing and this and that, and I was like, man, I really don't want to go Black Friday shopping. Like, I just don't want to deal with crazy people, But as we're looking at all these like video games and different things, and we're like, man, what do we get the kids? And I was telling her, I was like, man, we're just enabling another generation of people who are going to be lazy because everything's automated now. Everything is, at the fingertips. We can just get things done or whatever. It's not like a salesman from like 40 years ago. Like a vacuum cleaner salesman going door to door. Like you can reach 1,000 people in a second. So I told her, I really don't want to get these video games because I don't know. I don't want to enable them to be like lazy. Like, I don't know. There's things that kids will never learn inside of a video game. I don't know. I can't bring myself to do it. So we're talking about like, what do we get them? Of course, we're going to give them some books and some other things, but maybe we just plan a trip or something, or maybe we'll just, it's hard now because I want my kids to grow up, understand, how the world works or how we vision the world to be. And they can't do that staring at a screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And how many of those kids are actually going to remember the things you bought them, the toys they played with? Whereas,
right.
You mentioned things like the road trips or those travel experiences, the camping, those kind of family bonding moments. Kids are going to remember that. It's like, oh, mommy and daddy, they took me to these places, and we like roasted marshmallows around the campfire. That's really what they're going to remember at the end of the day. So that's what we, as moms and dads, need to really nurture and form in them. So they'll, it's legacy building, right? So they'll do it for their own kids and their grandkids, and we have a huge responsibility as parents, right? As a Peter Parker, Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't know, man. I feel like all I know is that the way that I see the world going and the way that this generation is being brought up, I don't know, man. Kind of scared. But I'm sure that I'm sure my grandfather said the same thing about us. Like, oh my God, your guys' generation, you don't even know. And some of the greatest entrepreneurs have come from my generation. So I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting, but I don't know, man. I hear the way that people talk. I hear the way that the younger kids, 14, 15, 16, I asked my kid, like, he's been everywhere. I asked him, like, so, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to impact the world? He's like, I don't know. I just want to play games. Like, no, like, your life is not revolving around video games. Your life is revolving around, like, wars with the neighborhood kids. Like, in a couple of years, man, because he's 15 right now. Like, in a couple of years, like, going to be driving, and you're going to be, he's like, I'm not driving, no way. Like, it's scary. I'll just Uber. Like, oh my God. Oh, well, I can save on car insurance. I can save on a car payment, all that. I'm like, well, yeah, but I mean, you can't just call somebody if you want to go. Like, he's like, well, you kind of can, because they have Uber and Lyft and everything else. Okay, well, how are you going to go grocery shopping? Well, I mean, they kind of just bring the groceries to you now, too. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's so crazy the way that they think. Like, I don't know, man. We're going to be hurting.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, I think no matter what shifts happen, like you mentioned, things like the technological shifts or like these new innovative models of like car sharing or the sharing economy, they call it, with things like Lyft and Uber and Airbnb and like more sharing economy kind of platforms. I think at the end of the day, we as parents just instill the values, right? Like the important values of like family and adventure, exploration, learning, personal development, confidence, compassion, volunteering, like money management, like all these skills that no schools teach. And the generation maintain those 5 principles are going to be the same, like 100 years from now, 100 years ago, and currently is we need to teach these like important life skills and important foundational principles to our kids, so then they can be equipped to deal with whatever changes come their way, right? So I think that's our most important role as parents, to equip them for the life to come.
Right. And, you mentioned something about like money management and some different things, that schools are not teaching. My 15-year-old, he is homeschooled, and we've been doing homeschool for about 2 years now, and school wasn't for him. He was one of those kids that, I don't know, it wasn't for him. He would never turn in his homework, and he just wasn't disciplined enough, whatever. So, and he doesn't do bullying very well. So, he would come home like, I have to have Jordans, or I have to have like the LeBrons, or I have to have these certain shoes or clothes or whatever, haircut, whatever. I was like, look, dude, like if you're going to live in the reality of what other people think about you, like your life is just going to be crap, like it just is. He's like, well, I mean, I have to have this. I was like, dude, you're never going to see these kids ever again. You're going to graduate high school, and you're literally never going to talk to them again. I'm just saying, you're never going to talk to these kids again. It doesn't even matter. But at this moment, this is what he deals with. So we made the decision, like, you know what, we're just going to pull him out. We're just going to homeschool him. And the other day, he's in his math class, and he's learning why the government taxes us and what the taxation rate is and the different levels of taxes. I'm like, yes, chalk one up for the homeschool win. I think it's awesome. They're never going to teach you that stuff in high school. Never.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man,
yep.
we need to be talking about resilience. We need to be talking about ways to overcome adversity. We need to be talking about communication, relationships, and different things like that. Because I don't know about you, man, but I graduated in 2001. Not one time have I ever consulted the periodic table of elements or the Pythagorean theorem on a life-altering decision. Can't say that that's something I referenced.
You are correct, my friend. You are correct. You need to deal with the everyday life. So, and I don't think the school systems are going to change necessarily, especially in the immediate future. There's a great talk, by the way, about New School Kill Creativity by Sir Ken Robinson, because at the end of the day, like, we are the ones who have to teach them those things, right?
Right.
I think the schools those things you mentioned, like Pythagoras' theorem or second law of thermodynamics or and I don't see that changing. So we have to be, where are they going to get the education?
Right.
Friends, or home. So I really feel we are the best educators. And the first teacher is who? Mom and dad.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that even if they went to, I have an 11-year-old, and she loves school. We're always teaching her about core values and value of hard work and just making sure that the normal stuff, chores are done and your room is nice and neat, and you keep things in an orderly fashion, and you have these core values, and this is what this is how you treat people. I mean, all of our kids, we do the same thing. This is how you treat people. This is what you do, and it's just, I don't know, man. Sometimes I question. I'm like, am I teaching them the right things? You're kind of just praying, right? You're like, this should be right because this is what feels right and this is what we believe. So, a lot of times what I've noticed is that we parent the way that our parents did, because that's the only example of parenting that we have, except for, grandparents, maybe aunts and uncles or something. But I mean, the only parenting example I have is from my mom, who, we grew up poor, and she was working like 2 jobs just to feed up, me and my 2 sisters. Married a guy who had my stepfather was a alcohol and drug habit person. He wasn't a great guy. For 5 years he sucked the life out of our family. So with our kids, I mean, you got both parents. We don't argue, we don't fight in front of the kids. I mean, really ever. But I mean, we treat them with respect, and we do things with them and take them places, and I mean, they have a great time. So I don't know. I think just in my opinion, when you parent, you're like, well, this is what I believe, and this is what we're going with, and kind of hope it works out.
Yeah, like this whole book that talks about this concept of, if we just repeat what our parents taught us, then we'll just repeat the cycle. Like most parents are working a 9-to-5 job, they're working like crazy until they retire, and then they'll struggle at retirement just because they haven't set up the to have it, freedom, right? Unless we educate ourselves in terms of finances, we'll just repeat that, like generation after generation, parents after kid after kid, right? So, teaching kids about the mindset of the rich or the wealthy, or the third party person, or even the employee mindset. It's tough because I think most of us who have grown up with parents who are employee mindset, we, like you said, don't have different models. Therefore, we have to learn from models who are maybe not our parents. Our parents, I think, they do the best they can with what they have through the circumstances. We are responsible at the end of the day. We can't just blame our parents saying, oh, the reason I'm this way is because my parents didn't teach me. Because you're advocating blame onto someone else rather than taking 100% full personal responsibility, saying, I am in the situation that I am 100% because of me. Because I could have learned. There's books, there's Kindle, there's Amazon, there's YouTube. We have abundance of opportunities to learn, and we have better resources than our parents. So we have no excuse in the day and age of the internet with YouTube and Google.
You're 100% correct. I always talk about, with the inundation of information, there's absolutely no reason for failure. Like, you are the only person that is holding you back. Nobody else. Nothing else. Resources are unlimited, it seems like, nowadays. So, yeah, man, I 100% agree with you. So let's talk about that for a second. What kind of resources do you offer those who are looking, for family information, travel, some of the digital nomad stuff that you do? What are some of the resources that you offer?
Yeah, I have lots. I'm like this prolific content creator, so I have tons of resources. Everything from like, like you actually read out some of those resources. But I have I do private coaching. I have mastermind groups. I have small group coaching. I do speaking. I'm on different podcast interviews. I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast with 500 episodes of social media. I have 50 different online courses. So I have a lot of different resources, books, etc. Right? So at the end of the day, it's like, what I like to do is teach people about, firstly, why travel is important. in terms of like shifting your whole paradigm, shifting your mind, shifting your heart, becoming compassionate, etc. Right? So figure out that why. Like, why should you actually travel globally, not just locally or nationally, like with a new continent, but why global travel? That's the important question. And then the how. So I actually teach a system. It's called like the 4 steps to travel the world. I can quickly go through that if you want right now. Basically, it's like first you got to start saving, right? So the S is the saving. Then the next S is the selling. Then you got the sponsorships, and then you got the salary. So it's the 4 S's. So savings basically means if you really feel that travel is important, which I hope by the end of this interview or during this interview, you'll also realize the importance of global travel. So you'll start saving. You'll be like, I want to take my kids to Africa. They've never been. I want to take my kids to Asia. They've never been. I want to take my kids to a third world country they've never been, right? Because if you really think it's important, you'll find a way. So firstly is prioritizing it and then start saving for it. Because you can just prioritize it and just say, oh, I think traveling to Africa is important. But actually never, ever, ever do it, right? So unless you actually prioritize it, put it in the calendar, buy that ticket, save up for the ticket, even start telling people, there's power to that as well. Just on social media, if you say, man, we've been living in the U.S. our whole life, and we're just sick of this like materialistic country. I don't want to be judgmental because I'm also from North America. But you might have that kind of revelation, and you're like, I really need to see the world, to show my kids how the other side of the world lives, literally and figuratively, right? So saving for that, saving, and then selling. Some people go drastic, they go like crazy and just sell everything and then travel the world. Some people, maybe they have a home, but they'll rent out. And there's great websites like Airbnb or VRBO, or even doing like long-term rental. You might go away for like a 1-year sabbatical or a 6-month sabbatical or a winter sabbatical if you're at a colder part of the U.S. and you want to give you snowboard and hang out in Mexico or the Caribbean or Bali or Thailand or something. So, selling is important as well. Sponsorship, so I'm a travel blogger, so you asked me what resources I provide. I also teach people how to launch their own travel blog, but also get sponsorship. So the reason we're able to travel a lot is also because we get sponsors. So a lot of hotels, when we're traveling, are funded by the tourism board or the resort themselves. So they basically getting it for free in return for mentioning the hotel on our social media, tweeting about them, Instagramming, doing a Facebook Live, doing a YouTube hotel tour, even mentioning them on my podcast, and then writing a blog review. So that obviously helps with the funding of our travels, getting stuff sponsored. We get sightseeing sponsored, tours, food at different restaurants, transport. I've got flights sponsored, helicopter rides, trains, etc. So I'm a big advocate of getting stuff sponsored. Then I don't have to pay for those hotels. And then plus it's a great memory because, you create all these like memories for your kids to look at when they're older. And also it's also helping other people when they look at your travel blog. They'll go, oh, this hotel seems great for families. They have a swimming pool. They have babysitting for young kids. They have a kids activity center, right? So I write from the perspective of like, is this hotel good for families? And what kind of outlets and resources and facilities do they have? And then I'll just go through quickly the last S. So we've already covered saving and then selling and then getting sponsors. And the last S is getting a salary online. So making multiple streams of income online, doing things like, what Sean and me do. We do private coaching, we do online courses, we do masterminds. I do speaking at different countries. I do workshops in different countries, seminars, things like selling online courses on things like Udemy or ThinkPic or Kajabi, Teachable, those kind of places. YouTube, you can get ad revenue. You can do things like affiliate marketing. You can do social media marketing or social media management. You can do e-commerce. There's a huge area of e-commerce, which includes like fulfillment by Amazon or drop shipping or eBay, Alibaba, Shopify, Etsy. There's also language teaching. So if you are from an English-speaking country, you can teach English online. You don't just have to go physically to like Japan or Korea or China. You can teach online while you're traveling just through the power of your laptop. So there's so many different ways you can make income online. And the great power of internet is that when you make income online, you have freedom. You have money freedom, time freedom, and most importantly, location freedom. Because you can pick up your laptop and then do that coaching call, that online course, or like teaching online, or doing e-commerce anywhere, at a beach, at a cafe, at a restaurant, at a hotel, at a Airbnb, at a resort, anywhere where you have internet. But that's my model there. 4 steps to travel the world, Sean.
Love it. And very easy to implement, or at least a pathway. I know I need to save. I know I need to maybe get some sponsorships. What I found when I was traveling and speaking everywhere was that, I got the Delta Sky Miles, and then I got this one hotel like DoubleTree, hotel rewards, and then as they pile up, as these rewards pile up, and then you get certain credit cards that give you points towards different things and traveling and whatever. So the more you do it, you eat up a lot of points, and then you can use those. Airbnb is effective. The sponsorships to where they fund a lot of your trips, and you write about having all of these joint ventures and these referral networks, can be huge for what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do really feel it's the multiple streams of income models, putting all your eggs in one basket. It's really important to diversify, with anything, real estate or investments or the stock market, diversification. The same with internet marketing or entrepreneurship, also important to diversify, because there'll be months where, honestly, you're not going to get paid speaking, you're not going to get enough coaching clients, so you got to have other streams of income that can help alleviate the lack of stability with income, because hey, the entrepreneurial journey is going to be quote unquote unstable to some degree, because you don't have a boss, you don't have a manager paying you a salary every month, you don't have a 15 in the stadium to look forward to, because you sometimes just have to rely on, okay, PayPal, I got to rely on that, or you got to rely on when a client, they might pay you like a big lump sum up front, or they might pay you something monthly. But if you lose a client, all of a sudden that income you're relying on is gone as well. So I think it's important to talk about that aspect of entrepreneurship too, the financial struggles, it can feel quite lonely as an entrepreneur too, like the depression or the loneliness. And when you're traveling, of course, you have homesickness, you have you kind of culture shock as well, or language shock if you're traveling to a place where they don't speak English and you're just like, oh man, I'm so used to going to a shop, going to a restaurant, and ordering a soup or a meal. Well, hey, in China, go try doing that without any English. You're going to have problems. And they don't have pictures of the menus. So you're going to have a whole bunch of Chinese characters staring you in the face and like, better learn some Chinese. So you're going to have all those frustrating moments where the buses don't leave on time, or you'll feel kind of burnt out after hopping around from place to place. So yeah, it's all part of this journey. And, at the end of the day, those things are part of it, but because of the amazing experiences, it outweighs those bad quote-unquote things.
Right. Yep, 100%. Yep. Yeah, I've been in some countries where I'm like, I have no idea, how to even order. So then you got to, look some stuff up, get a book, something, carry it with you, and sometimes they're like a waiter will be super patient with you. He's just kind of staring at you yep, come on, stupid American. Go, and other times they're just like, be right back, and they just leave, and you don't really see them again, and you're like, oh crap. So, yeah, both ways, but that's the experience though, and like anything else, be prepared, and if you're gonna go to a country, you gotta learn the language a little bit, at least to get around, One of the best things I learned, when I went to Spain was, where's the bathroom? It's one of the most important phrases that I could ever learn, was where's the bathroom, because you just point at places, and you're like, where is it? And they're like, I'm just saying, they walk away from you. You're like, oh God, I'm screwed. So yeah, definitely learn the language, man. That's a good one. So as we start to close the show, we'll do a shameless plug. Plug your friends' websites, Facebook, whatever it is that you want to tell the audience. This is your moment. Shameless plug. Go.
For me, I'm not a hard seller kind of guy. I'm I shared with you my passion, my interests, like my philosophy on life and travel and education, that kind of stuff. So if you resonate with me, connect with me. That's all I'm asking for. If you're interested in what I do, check out daddyblogger.com. If you're interested in being a digital nomad, digitalnomadmaster.com. And I have so many stuff that it can help. Free stuff, a lot of stuff I give out is free. Podcasts, YouTube videos, then there's some low-cost paid stuff like books, and then, higher stuff like courses, and if you're interested in coaching, happy to help there too, yeah. So first, call to action, connect. Let's start there. Let's start with a conversation and see where the conversation ends up.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely, man, love it. So as we close the show, what's next for you? What's happening for the rest of this year and in 2019?
Yeah, so I didn't mention, but my wife's actually from the Philippines originally. She immigrated to Canada. We met in Canada, got married, had kids, etc. So her parents actually live here in the Philippines. So we came here to hang out with her parents over Christmas and New Year's. And we're looking at next year still. Like, we're looking at India. We're looking at Africa. We're looking at different models of travel as well. Like last year in 2017, we did really fast travel. Like, we were in 20 countries in 12 months. So, like, more than a country a month, basically. 20 countries in 12 months last year. But we felt that was a little bit too rushed. We were feeling burnt out. We were feeling it was not the way we wanted to keep traveling. We saw a lot, obviously, but it's just not sustainable long term in terms of energy and finances as well. So this year we tried a different model where we traveled for the first part of the year in Central America. Then we set up base here in the Philippines. We're like, okay, let's see how it's like to live in a different country as a family. Like how will we adjust, and like we're not like expats. We haven't moved here permanently, but we're just like doing a trial. So we're looking at that model, like how is it going to be like to live in different parts of the world, and how is that going to look like in terms of schooling for kids. So we've tried unschooling, we've tried world schooling, we've tried life schooling, road schooling. Now we've tried homeschooling. Now we're trying private schooling. So just to see what schooling is best for our kids, because we don't want to just set the agenda saying, this is what we feel about education and this is what we want to the kids. We want to see and how our kids are reacting. Do they like public school? Do they like private school? Do they like homeschooling? Or do they like more like the world schooling approach? So we don't know what the future holds because the future is uncertain, but we know the present, and that's what we're focused on, the now, and living to the moment, as we say, carpe diem, seize the day. So we only have this one life, and we're going to live it to the fullest every second, every moment, every day, every week, every month, every year. So yes, travel is definitely going to be a lifestyle for the long term. We might set up base in different parts of the world, and we're going to inspire other people to travel, and we're going to serve, as I mentioned as well. Because at the end of the day, you can travel to all the places in the world, you can make all the money, but you don't serve others, it's all for nothing. So yeah, service. Just like you literally served your country, John, and now you're serving people around the world and all this other stuff. So hey, I'm glad we're able to connect here, and thanks for having me on your show, my friend.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm totally fascinated and intrigued with what you're doing, man. I think it's an amazing, way to live and way to bring up a family, and because a lot of people are raised like the 9 to 5, work, go to college, get good grades, get like $100,000 in debt,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to college and, get all this debt, and then go get a job. And the cycle of I don't want to do that. Like, I don't, like, after the military, I got a couple more years left in the military, I'm done, and then I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I've already built 3 businesses while serving in the military, and yeah, it helped having military pay for capital and some different things, but I raised capital in other ways. But, this is what I'm going to do, and yeah, okay, when I'm out of the military, the safety blanket's gone, if that fails, and I really actually don't have a job, but I'm okay with that because I already know I'm going to be successful because I was successful a bunch of other times, and I've actually created businesses that actually equaled what I was getting in the military. So, I mean, it was fun. But I just don't want my kids to just grow up one way, going, I grow up working hard, then get good grades, then go to college, then get a lot of student debt, and then teach my kids to do the same thing. because that's what's been modeled forever. But there's so many different ways now that yeah, I can't do it.
We're kindred spirits, my friend. We definitely think alike. That's why we get along so well.
Oh, yeah, man. Awesome. So before we close, give us one nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today.
Well, you know how the Nike slogan goes, just do it. Well, I don't like that. I mean, I actually do it, right? But I like the advice, be the just did it person. So for me, I don't want to be just doing things. I want to be just did it. Like, I want to live a life of accomplishments, and my dreams become like things done. So, like, for me, I've lived on all 6 continents. I've traveled to 81 countries. I've done the skydive, taken my kids around the world, seen the Amazon rainforest, seen the Taj Mahal, seen the big walls of China, seen the pyramids, etc. Right? So these are my just did it list. So I would say for you guys who are listening or watching, be the just did it person. Be that just did it man. Be that just did it woman, and create and raise just did it.
Very cool, man. Be an action taker. Be a person who takes action and follows through. I like that. Yep, absolutely. So, hey, man, I want to thank you for your time. I know it's really super late over there in the Philippines. And, I just really appreciate your authenticity and what you're doing in the world, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're doing as well. Keep up the great work, my friend. And, thanks everyone who has joined us from around the world for this Block Talk Radio episode. Great job with Life Transformation Radio, Sean.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, if anything has resonated with you, please reach out. Reach out to Ricky Shetty at daddyblogger.com. Go to daddyblogger.com. Find out all of the amazing things that he's doing. Check out his courses. Check out his books. Check out his Digital Nomad Mastery podcast. It's an amazing, amazing show on how to become that digital nomad. So I ask that you subscribe, rate, and review his show and my show, Life Transformation Radio, on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, at Player FM, the Google Play Music app, Overcast, Castbox, wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. Subscribe to both of our shows while you're there. Digital Nomad Mastery and Life Transformation Radio. If you miss an episode, join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio community, and never miss an episode, and talk to the guests in the community and find out what they're up to even after the show. So I want to thank all of the listeners from wherever you are listening from. This has been Life Transformation Radio, and as we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera.
I'm switching. That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.